I awoke from a dream Wednesday morning in a hotel in Los Angeles, California. And in the dream, I had a very vivid image of owning a 60s Jazzmaster. Um, Now, I've had this dream for many, many years now, but I've held off because I've never found the right one. But this time, something was different. I was in Los Angeles, California, working, a land of many guitar shops, and Fender had just released a new series called the American Vintage 2 that seemed very intriguing. And another thing that was different this time, I had a job that paid a decent amount of money, so I was able to make rash decisions. So the next day, Thursday, after we wrapped up around noon, the Paramount lot, I went and found, I think it was True Tone Music, one of those very Fender vintage, American Vintage 2, whatever they're calling it now, 60s Jazzmasters in this sunburst, kind of the exact color I'd dreamed of. Part of me kind of wanted a pink one with the anodized, the tortoiseshell pickguard, but this was number 2, and I think it's number 1 now because I'm in love with it. I've wanted one of these for so long, but I've held off because it's so hard to find the right one. You know, it's easy to find. Well, I say easy. It's easy enough to find the right Strat or the right Telecaster because you can go into any shop, even here in Huntsville, Alabama, and find one that you can, if not fall in love with, at least love, at least enjoy playing, get a connection to. But Jazzmasters, your only options are ever like your Squier Classic vibes, which are cool, but I am potentially a pretentious snob and just like seeing that Fender logo up there. Or I just like having guitars. I'm to the point now where I have, a really nice 62 Strat, nice acoustic guitar. So like, if I buy like a cheap Squier, I'm never gonna pick it up. So I knew I wanted one of these Jazzmasters forever. It's been my dream guitar. So I was holding off finding the right one, and Fender came out with this one. Now it was after tax in Los Angeles, $2,600. That is a not insignificant sum of money. Some might even say it's like 2 months' rent, a sum of money. But I'm gonna keep this guitar forever. I don't need to justify myself to the internet, even though I am right now. Get off my back. So all you youngins out there, as I once was, and honestly still am, when I was 14, 15, searching the YouTubes for guitars and stuff, and I'd see people playing really expensive instruments, I'd think, I'm never gonna do that. Why would I ever? There's no point. It's impractical. I can get a Mexican Telecaster, which I still have, and is still one of my favorite guitars, for $600, $500 then. It actually might even be $700 now, and that'll be fine. You talk to the old heads playing at wherever, who had, their 17,000 different Stratocasters, each of which cost, 10 grand or whatever. And you'd be like, that's dumb. And I still agree that is dumb. But something like this, there's something so lovely about owning like a really meticulously crafted, beautiful, beautiful instrument that you can keep forever. Because this will stay with me forever, barring, famine. Or nuclear war, or maybe a really bad divorce. No, that would stay with me anyways. So let's talk about the Jazzmaster. Specifically, this one right here, the American Vintage 2. That was, you just heard, the Egnater tweaker. I've been wanting a new amp, and I probably should have bought one instead of this, but I bought this instead. The Color Box V2 is like a little boost thing. The Volante and like a really subtle delay reverb setting, and then the Boss BD2 Blues Driver. When I played this one at the music shop in Los Angeles, I was just running through like this little tiny Boss practice amp with like 2 4-inch speakers, and I fell in love with it then. And I think that was a pretty good sign if you fall in love with a guitar through a shitty amp, that it's going to please you. When I first plugged it in, using my normal settings, that I use with my Strat and my Tele, I had to do a little bit of adjusting, but now I've found it, and it's glorious. What you just heard there was, for the most part, the middle position, which I've particularly fallen in love with in this, with chords. If you're playing chords like relatively clean, kind of crunchy, that middle position, like, you still get the warmth of the neck, but you get that like pick definition from the bridge, and that was always my favorite thing about the Telecaster. I never liked the middle position on Strats. Maybe I just haven't fallen in love with it yet, which is why I got a 62 that has only the 3-way position. Maybe that's why I fell in love with that one and not others. But yeah, this middle position sounds great. And what I think is a misconception about Jazzmasters, every time you hear, someone do a review of it, they're like, I don't get it. It's not a Stratocaster, it's not a Les Paul, it sounds jangly, it sounds gross. But that's incorrect. The amps and whatever is just not set up right. Because, whereas like, if you're playing a Les Paul, or even like a Telecaster to some extent, if you want to like get any definition from like a loud, strummed, overdriven part, you kind of need to go to the neck pickup. But that is not the case with things such as a Strat or a Jazzmaster, because there's enough, because of that brightness, even on the neck position, there's enough high-end material there for, an amp to still make, definition. Anyways, yeah, so this is the neck position, and you can hear all these notes, can't you? And you try that on the neck position on a Les Paul and see if you can hear a goddamn thing. You won't be able to, but you get the warmth, you get the clarity, you get everything with the neck position on a guitar such as this or a Stratocaster. when I'm playing this with the distortion pedal on, you can tell what chord that is. It's amazing, I know. Might be being a little facetious. I'm gonna fall in love with Gibson someday. Just have not happened yet. A story. My Mexican Telecaster that I first fell in love with, the first guitar I got, nice guitar I got that my dad got me for Christmas when I was like 14. I played it with my brother's Fender Excelsior amp that I talked him into getting. He always hated, but I fell in love with it because there's a switch on the top, and there's two knobs. One is a tremolo, one is a volume. That's all you got. But the switch was a bright switch and a dark switch. And the dark was unspeakably dark, and the bright was like ear-piercingly, disgustingly bright. So it was a difficult thing to use. But if you go back and listen to the entire first EP I wrote, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. There's some good tracks on there. All of the guitar is through that Fender Excelsior and my Mexican Telecaster on the neck pickup on a Telecaster. And guess what? Those distorted guitar parts and everything, they sound clean, they sound defined because the amp was super bright. And, you know, paired with the dark neck pickup on a Telecaster, just like, it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous sound. And that's what this does for me. You can get the middle position, and you get some, like, you know, even more definition if you're playing chords, which I particularly like. It's a great guitar. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not a critic or a reviewer. I am definitely a critic, but I don't have eloquent things to tell you about it. If you love the Jazzmaster, and if you're attracted to its appeal, which is what I was, we're all shallow pieces of garbage. Because if you like the look of something, the odds are you're probably gonna like the sound of something if it's good. Which is, you know, maybe what happened with the Strat, but that also played amazingly when I got that. But this, I've dreamed about a Jazzmaster for a long time, and I've wanted a nice one. And I finally had the means and the whimsy to go and get one. And I'm in love. Particularly, I've started doing practicing more fingerstyle guitar and like that sort of thing. And I found that this guitar, you know, once again, with its brightness but also its warmth from this neck pickup, sounds beautiful. Like you can actually, you know, define notes and stuff, but also it's not harsh and gross, as you sometimes get with an electric guitar. So here's yeah, some capoed stuff along the lines of what I've started writing a lot of, but this is not something I've written. It's the tallest man on earth, the greatest songwriter of all time. Also, maybe not coincidentally, I think that night before I had the archetypal, the defining dream. I had seen the National play and in Los Angeles because I happened to be there while I was there, and the Desners are no stranger to the Jazzmaster, so maybe that also played something into it. But yeah, I just love like specifically that capoed sound as well with this guitar. And yes, I hear you scream. I will show you the sound of the bridge pickup. What should I even play with the bridge pickup? I'm not that kind of guitar player, and I will get much use out of the bridge pickup, live especially, and somewhat on recordings. But just sitting down and playing, why would you not have it sound like this? You see what I mean? Anyways, this has been State of Occurrence and Matthew Nyman talking about his brand new, very expensive American vintage 2. Would I recommend one? Why, golly, if you have a dream one night and happen to also have $2,600, why not also get one? That's that. Thanks for watching.